You're 26 years old, sitting cross-legged on a mattress on the floor of a one-bedroom apartment, and the only light in the room is your laptop screen at 11:40 at night. There's a case of instant ramen on the kitchen counter that you haven't opened yet, because even $12 feels like it matters tonight. Your checking account says $47. Rent is due in 6 days, and you don't have it yet. And you have just written the first working line of code for something nobody asked you to build, for a problem you're not even sure is real, except that you can't stop thinking about it. It's a scheduling tool, nothing revolutionary, just something that fixes the exact kind of mess your dad's old auto shop used to run on, a paper calendar and a phone that never stopped ringing. You've built 4 prototypes and killed 3 of them already. This one, you think, might actually survive the night. At your day job, you make $52,000 a year, processing insurance claims in a beige cubicle on the 9th floor. And the only person who knows about the idea is Dana, 2 cubicles over, who you show the demo to on your phone during lunch. She laughs. Not unkindly, just laughs, the way you laugh at something that clearly isn't going anywhere. "That's cute," she says, and goes back to her spreadsheet before her break ends. You don't blame her. It probably is cute. It's also the only thing you think about after 6 p.m. every night for months. Some days, the 2 lives don't feel connected at all. The version of you that approves claim after claim under fluorescent lights, and the version that stays up until 2, writing code that might amount to nothing. You keep a note on your phone titled "Nothing," where you write down every reason the idea might actually work. And by month 6, the note is 4,000 words long, and you have shown it to exactly 1 person. 9 months later, you quit, with $9,100 in savings and a credit card already carrying a balance of $6,200, telling yourself the number will go down once the product is real. A friend of a friend introduces you to Theo, a back-end engineer bored out of his mind at a company paying him 3 times your old salary, and he agrees to help build it for equity instead of cash, which either means he believes in you or he just has nothing better to do with his evenings this year. You never ask which. You just start building, on a folding table in his apartment, sharing 1 decent monitor between 2 laptops and a lot of cold coffee. Some nights you don't talk for 6 hours straight, except to argue about a button. Other nights, Theo falls asleep at the table at 2 a.m., and you keep going alone until the birds start up outside, because stopping feels like admitting the ramen and the mattress and the credit card were all for nothing. The first person who pays you does it almost by accident. $49 a month, a small landscaping company outside Columbus that needed exactly the tool you built and didn't know it existed until the week it did. By month 4, there are 40 of them. 40 strangers who type in a card number every month for something that started on a mattress. It isn't much money, not yet. $1,960 total before the payment processor takes its cut. But it's the first time the idea has had a pulse that wasn't only yours. 6 weeks after that, you almost quit the whole thing. Not because of money exactly, though the credit card balance has crawled up to $9,400 by then. It's smaller than that. It's a Tuesday when 3 of your 40 customers cancel in the same afternoon, and you sit in Theo's kitchen doing math that keeps landing on the same number. Not enough, not enough, not enough. Theo doesn't say anything encouraging. He just reopens his laptop and says, "Let's find customer 41. And somehow that's the thing that gets you through the week. The seed round closes at $650,000, most of it $5,000 and $10,000 checks from people who knew your old boss or Theo's old boss, stacked together into something that finally actually covers both your rents. The smallest check in the whole round is $5,000, and it comes from Dana, who found the company on LinkedIn 18 months after that lunch and messaged you 11 words. "I was wrong about this. Can I still get in?" You let her in. It's the only check in the round that makes your throat tight when it clears the bank. You call Dana to thank her, and she tells you she used part of her savings meant for a kitchen renovation, and you don't know whether to feel grateful or terrified. So for a few seconds, you just feel both. You rent an office above a nail salon for $2,400 a month, and it has a door that actually locks, which after 2 years of folding tables feels like winning something real. You hire your first employee, then your third, then your seventh. The Series A lands at $4.8 million, led by a partner named Elena, who asks better questions in one meeting than anyone has asked you in 2 years of building this alone. She's the only investor in the whole process who asks what happens to Theo if this doesn't work, instead of only asking what happens to the numbers if it does. She joins your board the same week you pay yourself a real salary for the first time since you quit, $85,000 a year, which feels, for about a month, like more money than has ever existed in the world. By the time you're at 140 employees, a reporter writes a profile of the company and refers to you in print as the founder, like it's a job title instead of just a fact about your life. And reading it in an airport, you notice how strange it is to see your own story told by someone who wasn't there for the folding table or the $49 customer in Ohio. The Series B closes at $38 million. Elena's firm doubles its position and takes a second seat at the table. On paper, you are worth more than the entire town you grew up in. You also can no longer name every person who works for you, and there's a Tuesday, somewhere around employee 90, when you realize you haven't personally used your own product in 3 months, because there's a whole team now whose job is to worry about that instead of you. Then the board starts having meetings you hear about afterward instead of during. Nothing dramatic, not at first. A search firm is quietly retained, just in case, to build a bench of experienced executive talent. A chief operating officer is hired who reports to the board almost as much as to you. The protective provisions you signed 2 funding rounds ago, back when a lawyer explained them to you in 9 rushed minutes, and you nodded because you needed the money that week, turn out to mean this. On paper, it is still your company. In the room, increasingly, it is not. There's a Thursday when you walk into what you think is a routine budget meeting and realize 4 minutes in that the real conversation already happened on Tuesday, without you, on a call you weren't invited to because, Elena explains afterward, gently, it was mostly procedural. You nod. You say it's fine. You don't call anyone. You just sit in the car in your own driveway for 11 minutes afterward, running the numbers on how many people were in that room, deciding things about a company you named after a joke you and Theo made in his kitchen 3 years ago. The term sheet that finally arrives values the company at $400 million, and it should feel like the ending you pictured on that mattress 5 years ago. Your stake, on paper, is worth $61 million, and for exactly one night, you let yourself believe that number is the whole story. You call your mother and tell her the number, and she asks, the way she always does, whether you're eating enough. Then Elena schedules a call, gentle, careful, using the word alignment 4 separate times, to tell you the board has decided to bring in an experienced operator as CEO, and to offer you a chairman title that comes with an office, a healthy salary, and nothing that resembles an actual vote. You could fight it. You have the numbers run twice, quietly, just to see if you could fight it. But the math your own lawyers show you is the same math you signed years ago in 9 minutes. And when the vote finally happens, it's 7-1, and the 1 is you. Your settlement, after taxes, after acceleration, after every clause gets its turn, lands at $92 million, wired into an account you will look at exactly once and then never open again. Dana, who is still on the cap table, texts you a single line that night. For what it's worth, I'd invest in you again tomorrow. You read it 4 times and don't answer, because you don't trust your hands enough yet to type anything back. You sign a release agreement thanking everyone for their partnership. Theo hugs you in the parking lot afterward and doesn't say a single word, because there is nothing to say to $92 million that also feels exactly like getting fired. You move into an apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows and not one photograph on any wall, because you haven't stayed anywhere long enough to hang one. The bed alone costs more than your entire first year of ramen and folding tables combined. You sit down on the edge of it, still in the suit from the meeting, and for reasons you can't fully explain, what you think about isn't the $400 million, or the $92 million, or the 4 times Elena said the word alignment like it meant something kind. What you think about is a case of instant ramen sitting unopened on a counter in an apartment you don't live in anymore. $12 you didn't spend because it felt like it mattered, and how much, tonight, you'd give to feel that kind of broke again. Somewhere in your phone, still unread, is a text from Theo. A photo of the old folding table, still sitting in his garage after all these years, and 6 words underneath it. Still have this, just in case.